Hey everybody, I'm in Bellville, Texas, and I am at Phenix Knives. It's one of the businesses in this building behind me, and this is Gaylon. And Gaylon is going to show us around inside the knife shop.
Let's go inside and take a look at our showroom.
All right, I'm game. All right, let's go.
Let's step inside. Maybe shoot again.
Those guys are farriers. They shoe horses. That's the other business here. They have supplies for these fellas. They've been in here buying horseshoeing supplies. So we are on, where are we?
So we're in the Phenix Knives showroom getting ready to step inside. We wanted to create a space that we could host many different makers that come to our knife show in April. We host a lot of guys who have the largest custom knife show in the state. We don't have manufacturers like Cutco, Case, any of those guys. All the knives in here are handmade, and we know the makers.
Custom handmade knives.
Custom handmade knives.
That's kind of y'all's specialty.
Absolutely.
So you're not only, you make knives here,
yes,
and sell them, and you also have other bladesmiths who create knives, that make knives, that you're
so
like a broker?
A lot of these guys are working out of their garages. They go to various knife shows throughout the states. Most of the times when they're selling knives, they're selling them at shows.
Yeah.
Working out of their garages, they really don't have anything other than maybe an online presence when there's not a show.
Right.
So we offer them a place to host their knives where we can sell them on consignment. And
I can see where with the knife that would be advantageous, a brick and mortar store, because online you can't feel it, you can't hold it.
Absolutely. The feel of the knife, especially when you're talking custom knives or handmade knives, each one is different. You have different days in the shop. You may have a little more frustration one day and you're grinding a little harder. You might have a very nice, pleasant day going on. You're doing nice, soft, gentle curves. So a lot of that translate into the knives that you make. Every one you make, even if you have a particular style that you like to make, each one is going to come out with a different shaped handle, right, and slight variances in the blades. So having
they all have their own personality.
Exactly.
Sort of.
Being able to put it in your hand and feel and make sure it's comfortable. We always suggest handling several knives to find out what works.
I think there's another factor there, Juan, that's important. This is not like the knives on the counter at the convenience store that are $9.95 or $14.95.
Exactly. Those type of knives are machine made. So machine is basically heartless, soulless. They go in, they do everything is a cookie cutter version of that knife.
Right.
And
turn out pieces of crap.
Exactly. And there's no love. There's no love in it. We love what we do. We put a little bit of our heart and soul into everything that we make.
Well, let's go look around, Gaylon.
Let's step inside.
This looks very interesting to me. Where are we going to start?
Well, we can start with some of our cases down here.
Okay.
We host a lot of knife makers that have been on the show Forged in Fire. So throughout the showroom, we'll see several pieces made by those. For example, in this case, we have a lot of knives that were made by Billy Helton. He was on season 1, episode 1 of Forged in Fire. A very good friend of ours.
I've seen that.
Out of Claremore, Oklahoma. He started engraving about 3.5 years ago. He does a lot of hand engraved jewelry. He did all the engraving by hand on the knives that are in this case.
Oh, the engraving on the handle of this knife right here was done by hand.
By hand.
Not, what do you call it?
Not by laser and not by a CNC machine.
Yeah, no computer.
Now, that particular knife was made by 3 Forged in Fire competitors. The blade was made by Jeff Wagner, who was a Season 5 champion on Forged in Fire. Season 5, Episode 2. Billy Helton was on Season 1, Episode 1. And then Cowboy Szymanski, the owner here at Phenix Knives, was on Season 1, Episode 6.
Right. Nice. Well, let's move along. What do we have over here?
So moving into this case, we have a very special knife
bayonet
that was made from the battleship Texas. The battleship Texas was moved into Galveston to have repairs done. Very famous battleship. It was the last battleship that was running. When they got ready to refit, they did soundings of the hull, and where there were thin areas, they would cut those sections out to be repaired. They sent that steel off to knife makers and to various artisans to make things to raise money at an auction to raise money for the refit of that ship.
Yeah.
So Cowboy took that and some wood from the deck and created this M4 bayonet. Now this went on the M1 and would have been the only issued knife type weapon that would have been on that ship. In times back when that battleship ran, you would bring your own knife or your knife from home or whatever. That would be your everyday carry knife. There were no issued knives. So the Marine cadre on board would be issued these to go on their M1s.
Ah, I see.
Next to that, we have the Sam Houston, basically Sam Houston buoy, which was a museum replica made by our owner Cowboy's mentor, Lee Oates. Lee Oates has bear claw knives and taught Cowboy everything he knows about forging, or at least forging knives. So he made that as a museum replica. They would be a placeholder for the original when they would send it to other museums.
I see. I see articles in the Houston Chronicle there, and something about a knife that brought $297,000.
So the original, when it was auctioned off and bought, sold for that $296,000.
And this is a replica of that done by Lee Oates.
And Lee actually took the time to look at the knife and try to recreate the scratch marks and the pitting that was on the original knife.
Wow.
To try to make it as true to the original as possible.
Fascinating. All right.
Then moving on to the upright showcases, we have a various mixture of knives we make here in the shop that will have our Phenix logo. We have two different styles of logo for our shop. We have a circular logo with a Phenix head inside, which you'll run across in this next cabinet here. These are what we call our mid-tech line. So our mid-tech lines are done basically a mono steel that's water jetted, so the shapes are cut out. And then as the journeyman in the shop, we do all of the grinding to do our finish grinds on the knives. They're heat treated, they're handled, and we do all custom file work on the back of our knives here.
So there are a lot of different shapes of blades here.
A lot of different shapes and varieties. We have some, the ones you're looking at now, are called pack knives. They're really good for backpackers. It's a very small knife. They're originally called patch knives. They were used in the black powder times to cut little cloth patches to wrap around your balls in the cap and ball.
Yeah.
You'd wrap it around the ball and shove it down the barrel of your weapon and fire it. So those were used to cut those cloth patches.
I see these are called neck knives.
So a neck knife is typically worn in basically a necklace sheath. So it's up close and you can just reach up and grab it underneath your chin.
Yeah.
A lot used for self-defense weapons. And then they're often used by hunters too. If the shot doesn't actually kill, that gives them a quick access knife that they can finish and humanely take out the animal.
You talked about these, and these are...
So those are our everyday carry. That's what the EDC stands for.
Okay, everyday carry.
Everyday carries are typically smaller knives. Our utility knives are a general utilitarian knife.
Yeah.
A lot of people use those for box cutters when they're working on the job. We have an electrician that uses them to strip wire. Not a suggestion for us, but they will stand up to a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
They come with various tip shapes. The tip shapes are really determined by what you're going to be using it for. A clip point, such as this one here, has a section cut out of the tip, which makes the tip very fine. You can use that to get in, especially if you're doing any type of boning or detail work, you can get into some real fine areas. Where a wider knife might be used if you're hunting for fleshing, gives you a nice curve in the back where you can keep that point away from your hide.
Very interesting. Okay, Gaylon, we have a whole different type of knife here. What are we looking at?
So one of our more popular, a lot of people come in looking for folding knives. So we have folding knives made by various makers and various materials. We have some that are mammoth ivory. We have some Damascus blades. We have very special locking mechanisms. If you're familiar with folding knives, a buck or case type knife would have a rear lock, whereas a lot of these knives have what they call a liner lock. It's just a bar that's inside that locks that blade into place and keeps it closed.
Yeah.
This type of knife here has a very special button lock on the back, which is a different type of mechanism that's very rare to see.
Right. The locking so you don't cut your own fingers off if
Absolutely.
you're getting the wrong situation. Or
Then coming around this area, we have a few more folders here.
folding knives.
Then we move into some of our larger knives in our hunting type collection. We have a very unique skinning knife that was designed by Cowboy.
Okay, let's get over
That's
to that.
known as a gut hook. A typical gut hook is a small notch out of the back of a knife used for unzipping the cape on your deer or whatever for processing. These allow a blade to be put inside. It has a ball end that's very dull, so you don't have to worry about cutting any of the inside pieces or cutting through your
Having
hide.
cleaned quite a number of deer, and I can understand exactly what that's used for and how it would be very useful.
Absolutely. Then with some of the larger knives for hunting, we have trailing points that have that deep point where you can get into the joints and things like that. And then the bigger fleshing knives, which would be used for cleaning your hide.
Right. So these rounder ended blades are really for skinning.
Yeah, so it keeps that point away from the hide and you don't have to worry about tearing through. Then we have some of the larger Bowie knives, Bowie style knives.
All those Bowie knives. I love those.
So some very interesting patterns in the Damascus patterning that's done by Jeff Wagner, who again was a Forged and Fire champion.
It's very nice. That's almost like a dagger.
It is a dagger. It's sharpened both sides. Comes to a very sharp point. The handle on that one is camel bone. So we use a lot of interesting materials as well on our handles.
That knife is on sale for $1,420.
Which is a very good price for a handmade Damascus knife.
Wow.
Some of the more interesting handles, we have carved ivory or carved deer horn there, deer antler.
Right. We want to be very careful. There's no elephant ivory here.
No, although we do have mastodon or woolly mammoth ivory.
Oh, really? So that's old.
Very old. It could be anywhere from 100,000 or more years old, usually dug up in the tundra of Russia. It's a very expensive material. It is legal.
It's very legal.
An animal that's extinct, you can legally use their parts. Now, there's a couple of different ivories we can use, one being that mammoth ivory, another would be walrus. Now, walrus has to be sourced by the Inuit or Eskimo. They're still legally allowed to hunt it, and they can also sell the byproducts. This would be that mammoth molar, so a mammoth tooth that's been dyed.
Oh, really? Cool.
Then along that lines, we also have a handle here.
Mammoth molar.
This orange handle here is dyed. It's made from the backbone or the spine of a blue whale.
Oh.
So that's sourced out of the Ukraine where whale hunting is still legal. We're not able to do that in the States, but when they do process that animal, they like to use as much of that material as possible.
Right, don't waste anything.
So they don't waste anything on that animal.
Can you tell me about the handles on these knives here?
So this was designed during the COVID epidemic. Cowboy designed this as what we call a zombie apocalypse. You know, there's rumors everybody's going to turn into zombies. So this was also a one-day knife course that we teach, and we do a team building course with corporate groups. You bring 6 to 8 people in. But with this knife,
cord.
It is paracord. Those handles are wrapped, and they come in a Kydex sheath. The Turk's head knot you would tie yourself in the class, or you can buy it here. That's glued to the blade where the paracord handle is tied on, so you have 9 feet of usable cord. If you're out hiking, camping, you need to tie up your food off the ground, or you lose a shoelace, you can pull that cord off and then replace it again later.
Or if you're in a zombie apocalypse.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
Nice.
Some of the more interesting handles, we jump over here. We've got Choya cactus. Choya cactus, when the spines and the green part dies, it leaves this beautiful wooden skeleton that we'll pour epoxy down. We can add mica flakes to make it sparkly. We can also do that with the prickly pear cactus that's on the front of here. Prickly pear cactus, that flat palm cactus that has the purple fruits.
Yes, sir.
When it dies, leaves this beautiful golden lace. You can pour different color epoxies there and stabilize that, give you a nice hard surface that leaves that beautiful bubble-like pattern.
That's fantastic. This is a very beautiful handle up here.
So that is actually a dyed box elder burl. It's been stabilized with epoxy. The gentleman in the picture is Ethan Lee. He's out of Louisiana. He was a Forged in Fire champion as well.
Oh, really? I think a lot of people that may watch my video probably have seen the show Forged in Fire.
And we host probably about 18 different makers in here. Several of those have had their time on Forged in Fire. These are an interesting thing. They're basically scalpels, not legal to use now in an operating room, but a lot of hunters, like bird hunters, quail hunters, they like those because they have that very detailed point you can get in the fine, basically deboning.
Probably get them
for
razor
your birds.
sharp.
And they are razor sharp.
Some really fine work. Wow. And the grips on those are very interesting.
So that's what they call a skeletonized grip. It basically has that skeleton frame grip outline.
Wow. Oh, look, check it out. So that is not a spork.
This is what we call a Canork. We went with a hard K.
Canork.
Now, these actually predate the Civil War. We found pictures as old as the Civil War, designed for amputees and for people that had strokes. A lot of amputees during that time. The blade is designed so it can rock across your food. When you're cutting a steak, you hold it down with the fork and you slice. You take that fork away, your food slides all over your plate.
I got you.
So that bevel you can take and rock across and make your cuts. The fork area has that slight curve like we have in our table forks. And then the curve on the back, let me pull one of these out very quickly. And I'll get a right-handed one because you don't always lose your left hand. But this is designed so that that goes directly into your mouth and you don't have to worry about the blade out here. So the curve of this is designed so that always goes straight into your mouth, whether you're right or left-handed.
The blade's away from you.
Exactly. So everything we do, math, science, history, this is the math that you say you'll never use again, your geometry, your algebra. We use that every day here.
And these look like almost like little pen knives.
So those are actual paring knives.
Paring knives.
The same design as our everyday carry.
Yeah,
but those paring knives are made with a stainless steel, whereas our everyday carry knives are made with steel that has chromium and vanadium, which gives a little more wear resistance.
Yeah, just for peeling fruit.
For peeling fruit.
Or whatever you need
or
to
whatever
do. Open
you
your
need to
Amazon
do.
box with.
Yes.
I use my paring knives for a lot of things. Wow, we're getting into some bigger, longer knives over here.
So these knives are made by one of our in-house smiths, Heath Besh. They have octagonal handles, which are very good in indexing when you're slicing things in the kitchen. Heath was a professional chef for over 20 years, classically trained French chef. So he knows what's very good for in the kitchen design, whether it be a personal kitchen or a professional kitchen.
So he knows what a chef needs. And
exactly.
He designs knives to fit the bill. Outstanding.
Now, the patterning on the knives, you have a couple of different types. You've got a Damascus blade here, which is two different metals that have been folded together to give you that pattern. On this knife here, that ghosting look is a differential heat treat. It's done by painting clay on the back of the knife before the blade is heat treated, which gives it a little more flexibility. It makes sure that that area doesn't harden as much as the edge. So the edge is going to keep a real nice sharp edge for a long period of time, but the back's going to remain soft and a little bit better flexibility for that. And it gives that ghosting effect.
Outstanding.
Called a hamon.
So y'all actually have chefs that are customers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And probably not from just around here.
We have chefs from the Houston area, from the Austin area that have our knives, and they love them.
Wonderful. And we have more knives over here.
More knives over here, and then
I like that blue one right there.
Those are some of our kitchen sets that are basic chef's knife, the 8-inch chef's knife with a paring knife with matching handles, and also the designs on the back, the file work is matching. So we do custom file work on all the backs of our knives. So if you can get in there and see those patterns, we use basically needle files to make those designs.
If you want to know what a high quality, high end knife looks like, you got it. There it is right there. And this looks like more paring knives.
Yes.
So let's
Those are also made by Heath. Then over here we have
some
a little bit bigger
things.
fillet knives. Actually, this is just a kind of a chopping ring pommel knife that was made by Jeff Wagner.
Most people would call that some kind of a sword.
It is. It is a ring pommel sword. It was designed basically for use on the ballistic dummies they used in Forged in Fire.
So it looks to me a little like what I've seen before, the Turkish.
It's very much similar to a
yeah.
Turkish style knife.
Yeah.
Now next to that we have Makuro Bocho, which are actually fillet knives for tuna.
Really?
So Heath, being a chef, he really loves the Japanese inspired knives, and he makes these grand fillet knives for sushi chefs.
I would have never thought of this as a fillet knife.
It looks very much like a sword, but it is a fillet knife for tuna.
When I first saw it, the first thing that came to my mind was Kill Bill.
Yes.
And what was his name? The guy from Japan?
Oh, I can't think of it.
Hansi? So anyway, I'll have to look it up. But that girl
The
got
Kill Bill
that guy
sword
to
is
make
more
it.
like one over here. I know exactly what you're talking. We have these kopesh, which are Egyptian horseman swords, done with beautiful Damascus patterns.
You can see work going on in the background. We're at the window overlooking the shop, the farrier shop. The farrier supplies is over here. And the guy that builds the chef's knives, he has his back to us right there. And the guy that helped me build a knife this morning is right there. Right?
Yes.
Joe. And who's the chef?
Heath Besh.
Heath.
Yes.
Yes.
Then here we
All
have
right.
Neptune's sword, which has the crown of Neptune, the trident of Neptune, and 2 seahorses on the guard.
Oh, I like it. I missed this one, Gaylon. I'm sorry, I was yapping.
These are both styles of kopesh.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
They look like a sickle.
Yeah.
Would be like a farmer jumping on the back of a horse and using this as a weapon, possibly. But
Right.
the sharpened area is on the outside of the blade.
Oh, really?
The inner area has a hook which allows you to grab spears, swords, and guide them away from you, and then swing that blade, and real good at decapitating
Has a
someone from
purpose.
horseback.
I thought it was for harvesting wheat. All right.
Then the handle style on here, that style is what they call a skagel style, with that split antler handle.
The reflections are making this.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it's not. That's okay. We have another sword here.
This is a
Very
cavalry
thin.
saber that was made for one of Cowboy's apprentices. He's a young man, actually Joe's son, that started working for Cowboy at age 14. When he graduated high school, he went to Texas A&M University. He got on the ROTC there, so this was carried on the Kyle Field. Cowboy gave it to him
the
as
saber.
a graduation gift.
I see. Nice. So that's actually been used
Absolutely.
out on Kyle Field when they do.
Out on Kyle Field, yes.
All right. And
Then the next two, you have our saber-tooth tiger sword here, made by Jeff Wagner. He calls it a katana. It's not actually a katana style, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. It was a very beautiful Damascus blade with a very unique handle.
And last but not least, over here, this looks to me like Excalibur.
It is a Zweihander, a two-handed sword that would be close to Excalibur or to a Highland type sword.
So Excalibur, I love that movie. I don't even know how many times I've watched Excalibur. This wasn't pulled out of a stone, was it?
No. And it's one of the things that got me into knife making. I mean, when I started, I grew up as a boy basically watching movies about knights and chivalry and things like that. And I loved it over the years. And as I got a little older, I went into the military, and I did the military thing and tried to do the honor thing. And I collected knives
But wait a
wherever I
second.
went.
Let's back up a second. It's not did the military thing. You're gonna have to be a little more specific
Okay.
because.
So I spent 22 years in the United States Navy.
Thank you for that.
I worked on guided missile systems. So whereas Joe is a geophysicist, Heath is a chef, I'm the rocket mechanic. I jokingly would say the rocket scientist, but we actually had one of those come in the shop and make a knife much like you did.
Yeah.
He was a real rocket scientist, so I had to drop back to being a mechanic. But
Well, I think that's a lot more than that military thing.
well, yeah. So
it's a very honorable and admirable thing that you did.
it gave. Thank you. It gave me a background in electricity, electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, heat exchanger systems. So I learned a lot about mechanical systems.
And you got to see the world.
I got to see a lot of the world. I traveled to about 28 different countries. I saw a lot of artisans. I saw guys making knives in a brake drum used as a forge.
Wow.
So a lot of inspiration from that. And I collected a lot of knives, but they weren't made with quality materials. So as I went by, I started looking at the knives, and it's like, I wanted good knives. I wanted quality knives. And I really didn't have the money to buy them. So I decided I'm going to learn to make them. So I visited with Cowboy a few times over the years. Once I retired from the military, I did 20 years of other things, retired from that, and moved here to Bellville. I would come into the shop, make knives with Cowboy, and then I got invited to be a knight in the castle that's here in Bellville. We have a full-blown castle that was built by Mike Newman, who was our local baker who passed recently. But he invited me to be a knight there. And speaking with customers there, I got a little bit of a reputation. And there was a sign out there to come and make knives at Phenix Knives. So we do a horseshoe program, much like you did. And people would come here and they would talk about me. So Cowboy...
Wait, hang on. First you skipped over the military service.
No.
And now you're skipping over being a knight.
Yeah,
You've been knighted.
I have been knighted
in the Bellville way.
In the Bellville way.
Okay.
It's
cool.
Well, you said 15 minutes, so it's a long story.
Yeah. Well, this one's going to be a little bit longer video, but I think it's okay. It is what it, like they say at the Kenny store.
Yes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So I was approached while I was taking a grandchild to the castle and also to Phenix Knives by the king of the castle who built the castle, and said, "Oh, I noticed you out here quite a bit. You work here in town." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you know, the guy that works for me is getting ready to leave, and I need a knight." And I was thinking, you know, here I am. I grew up watching movies about knights. I get to be a knight in a real castle. It's like, yeah, I'll work for you. So I became a knight at Newman's Castle, and I did that for about 8 months.
So we should call you Sir.
Well, I was Sir Gaylon then.
Sir Gaylon.
Sir Gaylon. And I would basically offer tours of the castle. When the king wasn't available, I would hold knighting ceremonies for the kids that came out. We had a trebuchet at the end of the moat that we would basically take the castle by siege. We would take the kids out there after being knighted.
That's so awesome.
Shoot some bricks at the castle with a trebuchet, and we would charge the castle and take it by force. Fast forward, my wife happened to be across the street with Cowboy and bumped into him. He says, "Oh, I hear Gaylon's out working at the castle. I hear a lot of his name being tossed around over here at the shop." She said, "Yeah, he's been there about 7-8 months." He said, "Well, he used to come in the shop and ask me for work, but I didn't think he was serious. I was retired."
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, no, he was very serious." He says, "Well, I've got room for him. If, you know, the timing's right, when he's ready to leave the castle, let him know and let him come see me." So I hightailed it over here because this is where I really wanted to be.
How long ago was that?
4 years.
Okay.
So I'm coming up on 4 years in the shop. I started out working as an apprentice for Cowboy. I did 3 months just of...
Based on what you told us, You landed in just the right place.
In the right place in the right time.
Yes, sir.
Everything happens for a reason. God blessed me in a lot of ways. So
sounds like it.
Brought me here.
I can't believe it. That's a great story, Gaylon.
It's a lot of fun.
Sir
and
Gaylon of the United States Navy is here with the knives and very knowledgeable about them. And it's a really cool place. I got to tell you, that was a good tour. Fascinating. I love it. And hey, if you're in the Bellville area, you need to stop by here and check it out, especially if you like fine knives.
Oh, absolutely. Come see us. We'll make a knife with you. If you got a little time, we've got a lot of time. We'll talk to you about anything.
When are y'all open, Gaylon?
We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. No appointment necessary for the horseshoe knife like you made today.
Yeah.
Just come on in, have a good time.
Right. So that was very cool. And I really want to thank you, Gaylon.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for taking the time, and I appreciate it very much.
Well, thanks for coming in and making a knife with us today.
Okay. I did make a knife, and now we got a tour of the knives and talk to somebody that makes the knives, and it just gets better and better. Treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
And this is Todd.
And Gaylon.
Sir Gaylon. See you next time.